Hello, everyone. I'm Val, and this is What to See with Val. And today I'm very excited about my Sundance spotlight because I am speaking with Luca. And Luca, you are the editor for what I think is going to be one of the most talked about movies of the year. What do you
Oh
think
wow.
about that?
Well, yeah, sounds great to me. Yeah. I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Well, you won't be alone. I've seen it, and my review will be going up today as well. But I kind of think it's like a folk horror film. I don't know if that's even a genre or if it was what you guys were going for, but when somebody usually says to me a horror film, I think like slasher or really suspenseful. And for me, this isn't slasher at all. It is suspenseful, but I think it's dark, but in the most thoughtful ways. What is your take on You Won't Be Alone?
Yeah, no, it's interesting that the genre always seems to come up in these conversations, and well, I can only yeah report what the director was saying in the edit suite that he really didn't want to make a horror film.
Well, that's good
Yeah,
because I don't think that that's what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that was a good decision at the end of the day. Yeah, I guess it's some people might feel I don't know. Yeah, we are betraying the genre a little bit, but yeah, we like to say that we are transcending it a little bit. We are sort of stretching the boundaries of what horror is, and yeah, we're trying to yeah, we try to make a film more about life, a film that it's more existential and meditative, which is yeah, something more original. We hope, that
Yeah,
was the.
I what I put in my review is I feel like what you guys have done is yes, you've transcended the genre, but you've challenged the audience to think outside of the box of not only whatever genre, because we tend to want to put everything, in a genre box when we're explaining a film so we know what to see when we go see it. But
Yeah.
you've also challenged the audience to think beyond what a regular storytelling experience is,
Totally.
which, as a film critic, when I have to watch so many movies and sometimes they all seem very familiar, when I get to see something like this, at first you're kind of you're not sure how to take it in, and then once you just kind of let go and let yourself experience the different that's happening, it's very beautiful. One, the cinematography is so beautiful.
It is. Yeah.
Just opening in the beginning of the movie, setting the tone of the different coloring of the film and kind of what you're going to expect. It is unexpected for this type of film. And then the pacing of the film, we'll get into the editing, is very crucial because there are moments in the movie when we get into the story. So, for those of you that don't know the story of the film, we have we have this young girl who is basically kidnapped and stolen by a witch and then turned into a witch. And for me, it's kind of like a little bit like Death Takes a Holiday because this witch decides unexpectedly, unknowingly, decides to learn what human life is all about, and she does it in so many different ways, that we also get to experience different ways of life, and so you have a witch that didn't want to be a witch who is now a witch who is experiencing life because she to this point as a teenager has never experienced really much of life before because I'm a mother, and I feel like this movie is a lot about parenthood and motherhood and how we experience it.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
but this main character, she when she's a baby, a witch comes and she wants to basically eat the child, right? And the
Yeah.
mom says in this crazy way, no, don't take her now, take her when she's 16. And I'm thinking as a mom, I'm like, what? Don't take her ever. What is this negotiation that you're having as a mother? But in your mind at the moment, I get it. Like she's thinking, well, I will have time between now and when she's 16, kind of like Rumpelstiltskin, to figure out How to Save My Baby. So as I'm watching the film, I'm thinking of all these things like Death Takes a Holiday, Rumpelstiltskin, all of these folklore stories that we have been told as
Yeah.
children on what could happen in life and how we learn how to not take life for granted. Was that something you guys talked about?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. That was Goran's idea, the director's idea from the get-go, and also him being from, he was born in that area, or anyway close to that area, so he was really close to the sort of folk stories that yeah, come from that area. Although obviously he fictionalized some of those myths and stories, and just to you customize them to make them work in the film. But yeah, no, we were talking about it all the time, and it was a fine balance in the edit, because we had to sort of make sure that we were not, I guess, explaining too much. We were
Yeah.
sort of being authentic. The authenticity was obviously a very crucial thing to achieve for such a story. We really wanted to tell. Yeah, we really wanted the audience to feel that this was like a fairy tale, as you were saying. It was just a folk story where things sometimes don't completely make sense, or certain decisions, certain characters can feel like they're a little bit too arbitrary or something. But
Mhm.
for some reason, that storytelling style really suited the film, and we sort of embraced it, and with all the risks involved, I guess. And but it's also, the producers also let us experiment with that, and I don't know. Yeah, I hope it's, I think it's a remarkable choice, I hope.
I definitely think experimental film is a good way to put this because, like you said when we first started talking, is you can't really put this movie in a box of a genre. It's very much a drama. It's also very much, this kind of life story and growth
Yeah.
of this character. And I don't even want to say woman or girl because she embodies so many different characters during the movie. Um,
Yeah, no, it's a soul. We were
yeah,
thinking of
it's
it
a
as a
yeah.
soul at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just this soul. I mean, yes, she was born as a girl and she spent the first 16 years of her life in this cave, um, which is crazy to me as well because I'm like, you saved your daughter and then you put her in a cave where you're not letting her experience life at all. But I get it. It was just it made you feel like every time she was in the cave, there's all of this time that's passing and it's this breath. You get a chance as an audience to kind of take a breath and take it in. And every time the mom comes in, it's very quick in the pacing because
Yeah.
she's just beside herself. She, with what she's going to do, the panic of what's to come, so you feel that panic as her, but then every time you're not with her, you kind of feel like you're waiting for something, which is very, very strategic, I believe, in the editing and the pacing of the film. And then once you get into the meat of the film, when she's experiencing the different parts of her life, each character has its own pacing,
Yep.
which is because there's not a lot of dialogue in the
No.
film. And so you really have to do the editing and the sound
Yeah.
really have to tell the story along with the actors and how they're portraying it. And so it's just this great choreography between what you're doing, what the director's doing, what the actor's doing, which I know is a regular thing in a movie, but in this instance I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like it's more important, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, it was crucial. It was really crucial. And but at the same time, yeah, I have to say it was all in the script, so
Mhm.
that helped. It's like what you see, the final film is really similar, I think,
Mhm.
to what the script was conveying, and ultimately what Goran, his vision was, which is great. There's also the element of the voiceover, that was
Uh-huh.
really, which
Yes.
feels like this smaller part, of all this, um, of the whole, but it was really tricky, and it took us a long time to, yeah, place it in the right moments. And we played a lot with the subtitles, and with the subtitles, Goran wanted to make sure that she was sort of half articulated, but also capable of more lyrical passages that feel like poetry. And so it was a really fine balance too, with those voiceover, and how we played with it, and how we played it with the music, and in which moments we could be a little bit more lyrical, in which moments we could be a little bit telling the audience what was going on, but without being too expositional. So it's like
Yeah.
it's always a fine dance.
Well, and I think with those, the voiceovers, and the subtitles, there are also moments there where you can see how this character, this soul, is learning, because in the beginning it's very childlike, even in
Totally, yeah.
the text of the words that we're seeing. It's very childlike. Like, we understand what's going on, but she doesn't know a lot.
Yeah.
She's just all these new experiences, and then when she gets further into her experiences and her growth in different characters, you see that change, which is really neat. I had a lot of fun experiencing the different characters, especially when she becomes a woman who just got married and had a baby, and the mother-in-law. This is where all the moms come into play, right?
Yeah.
The mother-in-law is then shielding her from what could be hitting her, which is postpartum depression, or a husband who doesn't seem to be very
Yeah.
understanding of what's going on, when she's really just not understanding what's happening to her. But the mother-in-law is seeing that this woman has gone through a traumatic experience, because she doesn't know that she's now the witch. So you
Mhm.
get that experience. And then when you get to see the soul as in a man, and you see how because I think this character didn't do a lot growing up, is just right into working hard and doing hard things and not thinking anything about it, because it hasn't had to do those things. So it's so
Sure.
excited to give so
Absolutely.
much. And so us as an audience, I'm thinking to myself, like, we take for granted every day the fact that we get to do all these things, because it's just hard work. And why do we have to do it again? And why do we have to deal with our mother-in-laws? And why do we, and so you're kind of renewed as an audience member, experiencing these things from a different perspective. And I don't know if that was also a plan, or just something that kind of happened.
Oh, I guess a bit of both, but yeah, definitely when she becomes a man, you can feel this, remarkable enthusiasm in getting into work, and in the I guess in the physicality of certain tasks, and physicality is a big element throughout the whole film in general. Obviously, we deal with reincarnations, and I won't spoil how we get into it, but
Yeah.
it's like, it's obviously a huge element that again was there from the get-go. It's something that Goran came up with as an idea to to convey this transmigration
Mhm.
of the soul. But going back to the mothers, I think those characters were really key. The mother-in-law is, I really enjoyed the almost the cruelty of those characters, the
Yeah.
brutality of those characters. I feel that they're really authentic. And with Goran, being both born in Europe but finding ourselves in Australia, it was really curious to talk about these characters and how they were strange echoes of people that we knew, people that are in your family, that somehow are in your DNA, that just, that way of talking, that way of thinking about life, about kids, about, it's cruel but really authentic, I think. And
Yeah.
it gives authenticity to the whole picture, I
Well,
think.
especially in a time where, like, we're all used to taking time off and doing all of these things, but this is a time period where, you had a baby and you got back to work.
Oh, absolutely.
And it wasn't even this is just what you did. And so kind of experiencing that as well. But if you want to go see a movie where you're not only going to experience yourself as a 16-year-old, as a woman who just had a baby, as a child, as several different children, as somebody that grows into an adolescent and into a woman who falls in love. And I have to say the love story to me, and I don't want to give too much away, but she experiences so much joy and so much heartbreak
Totally.
in this movie that I feel is authentic. And I really did enjoy those moments the most, because I think we've all been through these moments. And then experiencing them through her, who is just trying to find her place where
Mhm.
she fits, and then when the original witch comes back, that's a really emotional moment, because why is a witch so angry? Why is a witch a witch? And you kind of jump into her feelings a little bit, which is
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's really modern, I find, like, yeah, to be on both sides somehow,
yeah,
no one is
yeah,
left, no one is left to be monodimensional or something, it's like, yeah, even the older witch, yeah, I think it's completely satisfying. Her story is completely satisfying, I mean, dark, as you know, but yeah.
yeah. It is very dark, but at the same time, again, I feel like it's whimsical to me because as I'm watching it, in my mind, I'm going through all of these fairy tales and folk tales that have been told to me my whole life, and you're seeing them happen in a very real and authentic way.
Totally.
And so I think if you are looking for an experience that is very unique, that is going to take you down a road that I feel like you haven't been before, You Won't Be Alone is a really good movie for that. I do think that make sure if you have people that are all into because I'm a huge as you can see behind me, I'm a huge nerd. I love action, I love drama, I love superheroes, but at the same time I love movies that challenge me as an audience member. And so stick with it. You're going to be like, this is kind of weird and crazy at first, but I swear if you stick with it, I think you'll enjoy the ride. Thank you so much, Luca,
Thank you.
for
Thank you
giving
so
us
much for having me.
a look behind the camera. I love talking to editors. That's what I went to film school for. It's such an important part of the movie. It can make or break a movie, in my opinion. But I look forward to seeing what else you're involved in. And for
Awesome.
everyone else, please check out You Won't Be Alone. You still have a couple days at the Sundance Film Festival to check it out. And then I believe it will be in theaters sometime in April. Is
Yeah,
that
April
right? Yeah.
April 1st, I've heard.
April. Yeah, I
So,
believe it's the first week of April. So
yeah.
make sure you put it on your list because this is definitely a movie I believe will be talked about all year for its unique experience and storytelling. Thank you so much, Luca, and thank you
Thank you.
everyone else.
Thanks heaps.